Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in and making GPS a part of your afternoon routine. I do apologize for the late start. Had some traffic issues getting here, and that caused me to be late today, and I want to apologize to all of you out there who are listening in or viewing the show on Facebook. All right, so let's dive right in. The telephone numbers to call on this Masterclass Monday are the same as always: 3260271, 3260271, 3260272. 3260272, the WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 801-0271, 801-0271. We're streaming live to Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. We're also streaming live on our YouTube channels, and you can catch us on Educate Bahamians channel 974, or on the Global 99.5 FM app, which you can download to your smart device. Thank you to all of you who tuned in by way of radio, 99.5 on the FM dial here in New Providence. Huge welcome to you all, as well as my audience up Grand Bahama, the Family Islands, and those of you who have joined from outside the country. Thank you so much for hanging around and waiting for us to get started on this beautiful Monday afternoon. So this is a Masterclass Monday, and we talk to the one and only Professor Sidney Walter Thompson, who is our resident professor when it relates to all things constitutional. And he is here to help us to break down the Constitution word by word, line by line, precept upon precept, so that we can get a better understanding of what our rights and responsibilities are as it relates to the Constitution of the Bahamas. So again, my apologies for the delayed start, but here we go. Professor.
Good afternoon.
How are you today, sir?
I'm doing well today.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. You had a good weekend?
Oh, very good weekend. I finished here.
Well, good for
I
you.
was just telling Kristen
Uh-huh.
the day that my mother left for me.
Uh-huh.
I told my sister boy when you were getting there, you just fall asleep right away. You don't want to feel like getting up.
Comfortable.
Extremely comfortable. Extremely comfortable.
I jealous.
And she's jealous because she has to get a new bed herself.
Oh wow.
And I said, when I move from where I am, I carry out a bed.
You ain't even that behind.
She must have blessed me because since she passed and I got that bed, man,
Yeah.
that is so, it really tells your body. And you feel good, you sleep good. And I remember going to the pharmacy when I was awake one night and I had the melatonin.
Oh, that is pretty good.
One of them,
Melatonin is excellent. Yes, yes, yes.
very excellent.
Yes.
I use it when I have a little rest in the night, not getting sleep.
Yeah.
Gone.
Melatonin, just for those of you who don't know, I noticed it's not a wellness Wednesday, but melatonin is something that your body produces naturally. And babies produce an extra amount. They produce a lot of melatonin, which is why babies sleep a lot. And because really they grow when they sleep. But the older you get, the less you produce. And so if you are having sleep challenges, as opposed to going and buying some over-the-counter medication, that could be a little, damaging. Melatonin is the natural thing that you can take orally. That will knock you right out, let me tell you. You'll get good sleep. When I used to, we can get to the Constitution right now, but when I used to work at 7, I had to cover Junkanoo, right? We would have to work you'd have to be to work at 11 o'clock at night, even though Junkanoo wasn't starting until like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. But you had to be to work at 11 o'clock because you had to get on Bay Street, because once they closed Bay Street, you couldn't just drive up there. So we literally would be up the entire night from 11 o'clock until 10, 11 o'clock the next day. And so what I often had to do was I would miss all of the family gatherings, and I would take melatonin during the day so I could get some sleep during the day, so I could be up the whole night to cover Junkanoo the whole night. So for those of you out there who may be having some sleep issues, melatonin is excellent. Good for you, Professor. You help educate them a little bit today.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Iodine is also a sleep regulator. So if you having challenges with sleep, a little iodine at night as well could knock you right out naturally. All right, enough of that. Everybody who come here on Monday come with one thing in mind. I can see them right now rolling their eye, talk. Shall know they need to know melatonin? Get to the Constitution.
Yeah, they want to hear about the Constitution.
Yes, everybody wants to know about this Constitution. So let's get the people what they want.
Yes, sir.
Now, the last time you and I got together, I think we covered 10, part 3.
We started 10.
Yeah, of the Bahamas Nationality Act.
Yes.
We got through the whole thing because it's only an A and B, 10A and 10B, and the loss of citizenship section of Part 3 of the Nationality Act. And I think we covered the whole thing. Let me read it again.
Yeah,
just
read it again.
Just so we can be sure. So Part 3 of the Bahamas Nationality Act. Now, in case you're new around these parts, what we have been doing is we've been comparing the Constitution of the Bahamas to the Bahamas Nationality Act. He's saying that you got to come closer to your microphone.
Oh.
Yeah. And just to see where the two differ, because there are some points where they do differ. And as Professor always points out, it is the Constitution of the Bahamas that takes precedence over any other law or act that may be in contravention to what the Constitution says. So I will just read over this, but I'm pretty sure we covered the whole thing of this last time. And this is, again, I'm reading from the Bahamas Nationality Act. And I need to pull out my phone because that's what I have the Constitution on. But anyway, Part 3, Loss of Citizenship, Article number 10. If any citizen of the Bahamas of full age and capacity who is or intends to become a citizen of any country mentioned in the first schedule, or B, a national of a foreign country, makes in the prescribed manner a declaration of renunciation of citizenship of the Bahamas, the minister shall cause the declaration to be registered, and upon such registration, that person shall cease to be a citizen of the Bahamas, but the minister may at his discretion withhold registration of any such declaration if it is made during any war in which the Bahamas is engaged by a person who is or intends to become a national of a foreign country. We covered that, right?
Okay, now, what I'd like you to do is go over what the Constitution says, Article 12, and then Article 11.
Okay, tell you what, let's take a break because I got to get my phone at my bag.
Yes, ma'am.
The Constitution I have on my phone,
Yes,
and it is 2:29. I know we started quite late today. So let's take this break, and then on the other side of the break, I'll go ahead and read what you asked me to read from the Constitution. How's that?
then that's fine.
Okay,
That's
cool.
fine, yeah.
We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rim fix and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Glasses loud.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here with Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on this Masterclass Monday. When we look at the Constitution, the telephone numbers to call are 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 8010271, 8010271. We're streaming live to the Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM YouTube channel and our Facebook pages. Please like and share the show if you haven't already done so. And we're also airing on Cable Bahamas channel 974. And the numbers to call in 3260271, 3260272. WhatsApp is 8010271. And you can download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device. Check us out there, or, of course, listen by way of radio. Okay, Professor. So I have my Constitution on my phone in my hand. And prior to the break, I would have read Section 10 of the Bahamas Nationality Act. So here now, in comparison, is 11 and 12 of the Constitution. Stop at 12, okay.
Yeah, and then go to 11.
So 12 deals with the renunciation of citizenship. Now I'm reading directly from the Constitution now. And 12 says, any citizen of the Bahamas who has attained the age of 21 years and who A, is also a citizen or national of any other country, or B, intends to become a citizen or national of any other country, shall be entitled to renounce his citizenship of the Bahamas by a declaration made and registered in such manner as may be prescribed, provided that A, in the case of a person who is not a citizen or national of any other country at the date of registration of his declaration of or renunciation, if he does not become such a citizen or national within 6 months from the date of registration, he shall be deemed to have remained a citizen of the Bahamas, notwithstanding the making and registration of his declaration of renunciation. And B, the right of any person to renounce his citizenship of the Bahamas during any period when the Bahamas is engaged in any war shall be subject to such exceptions or qualifications as may be prescribed in the interest of national security and public policy. That's 12.
That's 12.
Mhm.
Okay. Now go to 11.
11 deals with deprivation of citizenship. Again, I'm reading directly from the Constitution. It says 11.1. If the Governor General is satisfied that any citizen of the Bahamas has at any time after 9th July 1973 acquired by registration, naturalization, or other voluntary or formal act other than marriage, the citizenship of any other country, the Governor General may, by order, deprive that person of his citizenship. 2. If the Governor General is satisfied that any citizen of the Bahamas has at any time after 9th July 1973 voluntarily claimed and exercised in any other country any rights available to him under the law of that country, being rights accorded exclusively to its citizens, the Governor General may, by order, deprive that person of his citizenship.
That's correct. Now, let me just say this. See, Bahamians, it is so important that you watch what your government is doing, you watch the legislation that is being passed in the House of Assembly, because right now we have a conflict right here. The Constitution is saying one thing, your Bahamas Nationality Act is saying something else different. The Constitution says nothing about any minister of immigration or any minister of citizenship. That's point number one. Point number two, the minister has no jurisdiction when it comes to renunciation. The minister has no jurisdiction when it comes to deprivation. Your Constitution says the Governor General of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. In fact, he had that power since July the 10th, 1973, straight on through. Okay? Now, in terms of war, if the country is at war, the individual who may make the declaration or renunciation of his Bahamian citizenship, the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, through the Governor General, gives him 6 months to think about it. He may decide to change his mind.
Right.
He's not a citizen of any other country now. Now you have the other fellow may be a citizen of another country. That's a different kettle of fish altogether. Because the Constitution of the Commonwealth doesn't accept dual citizenship. Either be one or the other. In the case where he has renounced his citizenship, within 6 months, if he is not a citizen of that other country, that person is deemed to be a citizen of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. He remains a citizen of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas because within 6 months, he could have changed his mind. And he decides, well, I don't want that no more. And it would be as if the declaration that was made of his renunciation is not, it just does not exist anymore. It would be just as if it never happened.
Okay.
Okay? It has nothing to do with the minister holding back something or making a determination on it. That's not in your Constitution. But in the Nationality Act, it says some other things. And this is where the conflict comes in when you have a statute law. And I wonder, this particular law, which was passed around just prior to July the 10th, 1973, and came into effect July the 10th, 1973, which contradicts the Constitution itself. Because anything in that Constitution, when it comes to any changes that have to be made, most of those articles, and these particular articles mentioned here, would have to be changed in a referendum. The Bahamas Nationality Act was never, ever presented to the Bahamian people to make a determination as to whether they will accept it or not. Article 54 of your Constitution. That never happened. So that act is not even a law. It may have been passed in the House of Assembly, went through the formality, but it has no legal standing. It has no punch at all, period. So the minister is acting on something that is totally unconstitutional. The government is acting on something that's totally unconstitutional. The parliament is acting on something that's totally unconstitutional. These are the things that Bahamians need to watch carefully, because right now in our country today, we have all kinds of distractions. People are trying to distract you from the real issues that affect the Bahamian people. And immigration and citizenship is one of those major problems that afflict the Bahamian people. It's a major issue, and people are crying about it all the time. But the Bahamian people have to realize that not just cry about it, but you have to do something about it. And the Constitution tells you how you can go to do that. So it is important that you look carefully at what these pieces of legislation say. And I hear them talk about the Enterprise Act that was passed recently. They're going to change that as well. And sometimes you wonder how much effort is being put, because there's no consideration to the Bahamian people, no consultation with them on the passing of these pieces of legislation. They told us in this first 2 years, they passed over 100 and something pieces of legislation. That's fine, that's all well and good, but do people understand it? Do they know it? You could pass a whole army of things, and people not familiar with these things. And so the conflict comes in when the government of the Bahamas uses unconstitutional legislation to impose things on the Bahamian people. That is totally wrong. And in this case, that is what is happening right now with the Bahamas Nationality Act. It is a flagrant abuse of authority. It has no validity. It has no legal standing. But yet the government of the Bahamas is using something that is totally unconstitutional. And I think the Bahamian people need to wake up and realize that. Because going forward from here on out, we cannot take anything for granted. Watch what the government of the Bahamas is doing. Listen to what they say, then watch what they do and make note of what they do. And then you can determine the course of action you're prepared to take. Because right now, as it stands, there are many distractions that are being put out there to get your mind on some other things, while some other funny things are happening in this country, which can cause a lot of trouble for the average Bahamian. So we have to be very, very careful. So right now, as we look at this act, we see where the Minister of Immigration or the Minister of Citizenship has no authority when you look at your Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
The Governor General has the authority, renunciation, and deprivation of citizenship.
What I don't understand, Professor, is this, from what we understand, has been going on for
50 years.
50 years. So why hasn't anybody taken issue with this before? Why has this not been challenged before? I don't understand what's going on.
It's a good question, and a lot of people are asking that question. I tell them you got to ask them why they're behaving that way. And this is where you need to question your representative, question the government, question the ministers. You don't just let it slide. All these brains you have and the talk about the QCs and the now Queen's Counsel and now King's Counsel, the KCs, who have all this legal knowledge and legal understanding, could not see this major mistake. For more than 50 years, this has been going on. And not a single one of them in the Attorney General's office or in the government of the Bahamas saw it. One administration after another. So it's a compounded mistake. Now, whether it's deliberate or intentional, I let the Bahamian people make their determination on that. But the Constitution is there, and the government of the Bahamas has not been acting responsibly in dealing with the Constitution.
We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good day, Michelle.
Hi.
Professor, how you doing?
I'm doing well today.
Well, that bed must be was comfortable, man. I was calling you yesterday after 5, and the host phone answered. You ain't answer, so you had a good sleep. You ain't lie.
Listen, when I go in that bed, that just knocked me right out.
Yeah, Michelle, the answer to the question that you just asked is a simple word: corruption. Simple as that. And the individual who saw it never wanted to deal with it. The individuals who didn't see it, they was just derelict in duty. The question that you're asking, and Professor is 150% right. Question has been answered over 44 years ago in 79, after the Darcy Ryan ruling. There's a section in the ruling which is called the validity of the provision to Section 7 of the Bahamas Nationality Act. This is the validity that the Privy Council look at, Lord Diplo. Here's what I'm saying, Michelle. In answering this question, their lordships are concerned in the first place with the construction of provision contained not in an ordinary statute, but in a written constitution. So they were saying they had the Bahamas Nationality Act in front of them, and they had the Constitution, because remember, Sir Cecil Wallace Whitfield appeared on the behalf of Darcy Ryan, and Christopher French QC appeared on the behalf of the government.
Okay.
So they let Christopher French talk and bring his case. Then they answer, say, man, Mr. French, we ain't concerned in no ordinary statute. We are concerned in what's in a written constitution. That's a ruling right there. They actually ignored the Nationality Act. They said that it was not relevant, right? And they gave three messages. One to the Nationality Act, which I just told you. The other was to the executive branch, which would be the cabinet, inclusive of the Immigration Board and Keith Bell that the professor is talking about. Here's what he had to say about them. They appear in a part of the Constitution comprising chapters 2 and 3, which confers upon individual rights which cannot be withdrawn or limited by any action of the executive. So in other words, Michelle, in order to alter, modify a law in terms of alteration, reenactment, or amendment, it has to go to Article 54, which deals with alteration. That's what the Constitution says. They got the 3/4 of the votes from the House and the Senate, and Professor's right, it never went to a referendum. The Privy Council told them, listen, that the executive cannot stop individual rights. In other words, the people, the electors, supposed to be able to participate in who we want to allow to be citizens in the Bahamas. This did not happen. And so he rebuked the executive. Keith Bell them. Now, let's continue. And by Article 54, are deeply entrenched against interference by Parliament in the absence of a referendum. So they not only attack the executive, they attack the Parliament. It's right there in the ruling. Say that, listen, all the Nationality Act is interference. Professor used the exact word a little while ago, and I smiled to myself. That Nationality Act interfere, and the Privy Council has already ruled, right, that Parliament cannot interfere with any entrenched law in the absence of a referendum.
Did we lose the caller? We lost the caller.
Yeah, we've lost that. Yeah, let me just finish off where he was going.
Okay.
The thing is, the Constitution is very specific and very clear. You have a government that has been strong-willed and stubborn and not follow the Constitution. Now, that is something the Bahamian people have to deal with very decisively. You cannot allow a government to continue to do and act as it pleases and ignore your supreme law. When the supreme law is ignored by a government, you realize you're headed for big trouble. That's all you're going to get is more trouble. So the Bahamian people need to wake up and realize what has been going on for 50 plus years. From the time we became an independent nation, there are some who say we're not an independent nation. The Constitution says we are. So I'm going with that. The point is that we have been asleep for too long, and the Bahamian people just woke up recently. I had to wait for 50 years for them to wake up. But the point is they are awake now, and I don't want them to go to sleep. I want them to look at this Nationality Act, as we are doing right now on this show, have been doing on the show, and question the government of the day. They don't have a leg to stand on.
I just want to make sure I understand what the caller was saying, the last caller. So what he is saying is that the Privy Council dealt with this problem since 1979. Did I understand him correctly?
That's what he said, but the DRC Ryan case.
Right.
In other words, they were using the Bahamas Nationality Act.
Right.
To try to usurp the authority of the Constitution in the Darcy Ryan case, because you know the government, they didn't want to give him citizenship.
Right.
Although he was qualified constitutionally to receive citizenship.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what the government may think. See, the problem in this country is we have allowed the government of the Bahamas to get away with so much nonsense and foolishness as to what's in the head of a particular personality or a group of individuals at any given time. When you run a country like that, you're asking for plenty of trouble. That's all you're doing. It's building up for trouble. And then when the government of the Bahamas refuses to follow the Constitution, you're going to find the citizenry themselves are not going to be following the law. That's why we have so much lawlessness in the country. Look at the spate of murders we've had over a short period of time, over this weekend, and other criminal acts that are being committed. You can't even get people to do simple, basic, fundamental things for peace and order in a given community. The police are hard pressed, and I know we call on the police to do a whole lot of things. They're hard pressed to keep law and order, but they're responsible for enforcing the law, and many things they're not enforcing. And so we as citizens out here who are law-abiding citizens, we're being punished because when we call on the police to enforce law breaking, we don't get any results. So we keep suffering. What are we supposed to do? So the governor of the Bahamas is violating the Constitution blatantly, openly. No ifs, no ands, no buts. And the Bahamian citizenry has been following that same wicked trend, violating the law with impunity. And that's not the way to build a country. We're in our 51st year now. And this is what we have come to after 50 years as an independent nation. We have to look at what we are faced with. Plus, I notice in my area all kind of strange males, and my sister just told me today, she see all kind of strange females. We know they're not Bahamian. We know what Bahamians are like. These are new people just walking up and down in the community. And it is not a good thing. You just see all kind of strange faces. Males, and first it was plenty males, now you got males and females now taking over the community. I'm going to call the nearest police station where I am and tell them about it. I don't know if they can do much about it, because the point is they tell you they have no cars, they're short on manpower, and they got to watch the prisoners inside the station. That's what the man told me. So you're going to get very little assistance from them. But you keep hearing the police say, you see something, you know of something, call them. But they don't show up. They do nothing about it. So what we have is a breakdown of law and order. And this is not good for the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. So we got some serious problems. And it's going to take the Bahamian people to look at this objectively. This is not something to take lightly, because the governor of the Bahamas is carrying us down a very dangerous road in the way how they run the country and the way how they behave toward the Constitution. Very dangerous.
Well, you know, if you're telling me that since 1979, the Privy Council dealt with this, then what you're saying is that successive governments have been blatant in their intention not to follow the ruling that was handed down by the Privy Council.
That is correct. That is correct. Because see, the thing is, Bahamian people in general do not keep tabs on the government. They do not keep tabs on the representative. That is a major weakness of the Bahamian people. Now, I have to do the best that I can to wake the Bahamian people up with the strength God has given me in cooperation with others, to be able to get them to understand the seriousness of the times in which we live. We only have a short window of opportunity to correct this wickedness that is permeating the land today. Otherwise, we may not even have a country. That's how serious it is.
We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yeah, Michelle. Sorry about that. I ran out of minutes.
Okay.
I just want to finish off. Like I say, Professor's 100% right. So in 1979, but 44 years ago, the majority opinion of the court delivered by Lord Diplock in the judgment document, they actually stated those three things, right? They wasn't interested in the Nationality Act. They wanted to see a written constitution. This nonsense with Keith Bell and the immigration board at the time, the Minister of Home Affairs, what I think was Sir Clement Maynard, They said, listen, man, you don't have this type of power. You are outside of your jurisdiction. The decision you're trying to make with Darcy Ryan is ultra-virus. And that's why the Supreme Court was able to look at the matter, because they were saying, if the minister this, if the minister that, the Privy Council say, no, that don't go like that. And this is why in their final ruling on the last page, they said that the latter part of Article 7 of the Nationality Act was inconsistent with the Constitution, because the Constitution was the supreme law. And they had to give Darcy Ryan his citizenship. I mean, he got it 13 years later, posthumously, but he had, the court ruled, when they compared the Nationality Act with the Constitution, they said, we don't want to see that other document. They actually said that in the ruling. And so these fellas playing games. Parliament shall not interfere with entrenched rights, Michelle. We have 137 articles in the Constitution. About 104 of them, I was looking over them. Parliament needs the people to make a decision on the articles for them to go forward. This thing about you getting permanent residency and then citizenship, that's not constitutional. There's nothing in the Constitution that can graduate you from permanent residency to citizenship. That has been cancelled based on Article 5 of the Constitution, in 1974. July 10, 1974. That came under status, under the 1967 Immigration Act. The last person to get citizenship under status like that was Darcy Ryan. So we don't have an article in the Constitution that can give you citizenship through naturalization either. That was ended on the night of July 1974. We don't naturalize in the Bahamas. We register you at the age of 18, but before your 19th birthday. Naturalization. All these people you see in the paper, but they naturalize. They joking. That's not constitutional. And the Privy Council already said, we're interested in the Constitution. Here's my point. When we go to the low court, that's what you call a binding precedent. The High Court has already gave a judgment statement on that. No Supreme Court judge or appeal court in the Bahamas could go against that, because the Privy Council has already spoken. Now, if you want to make a fool of yourself, go ahead. But that's not a persuasive precedent. That's a binding precedent. That's like the Commissioner of Police telling the Crown Sergeant on the desk, go and move that cup. Here you have to move that because the commissioner say you got to move the cup. And so they doing a bunch of garbage.
But you know, with all your respect, Carly, you said they making a fool of themselves. They ain't making a fool of themselves. They're making a fool of us.
That's
themselves in terms of their career path. They're making a fool of me and you and Professor Michelle. We know the truth and we speaking it. So they're not making a fool of us, not certain Bahamians who isn't knowledgeable, not by their own doing, but because we were trained a certain way. See, we trusted these people for 50 years, you know. Right? You know, when I stopped trusting them, Michelle, I think me and you stopped trusting them at the same time. That same injection, that woke me up. You know, we can't use that next word for your sake. That same injection. You know, they telling you safe and effective. That time it's killing you. I say, hold on. Something ain't right. And so we need to challenge. The Bible says, submit yourself to God, resist the devil, and we will flee from you. He will flee from you. Well, we can resist the devil. Because these fellas working for the devil. That's the trap they got us in for 44 years. A ruling has been, see, all you got to do is analyze the ruling. It's like the former Commissioner of Police, Green Slade. He said, it's not what I say, it's what I didn't say. You see? That's what you got to look at, what it was not said. Now, in that ruling, we know that 2 documents was in the front of them. They say they're interested in no ordinary statute. What was that ordinary statute at the time? The Bahamas Nationality Act. Because that was challenging Article 5.2 of the Constitution. Then Lord Diplock them look at that, and they say they're interested in no ordinary statute. We will see a written constitution.
They pretty much said the same thing when recently it was brought before them with regard to the Bahamian single father and the foreign mother having a child within the Bahamas. They said pretty much the same thing. We don't want to see this Nationality Act.
That's correct.
For the Constitution,
Yes. But thanks for your time, Michelle. Appreciate it, Professor.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow. I appreciate you calling.
Yes, I'm happy that he called in and spoke specifically to the ruling, because no lower court could overrule the Privy Council. It's just as simple as that. And so we have a win situation against the government of the Bahamas. You can't lose on this one. The government of the Bahamas has to be stopped from violating the Constitution, giving out hundreds, if not thousands, of pieces of paper that the minister and others may have signed and say they're making these people citizens who do not qualify.
Come a little closer to your microphone.
The government of the Bahamas has to be stopped through the court by giving out citizenship to thousands of persons who do not qualify, who cannot qualify as legal citizens of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. It has been said that there are people who are trying to annex the Bahamas to some other place. And so I've seen a lot of strange males, and now we're seeing a lot of strange females just milling around in the country, in the area where I live. And some people are seeing it in other areas, in other parts of the country. It shows what kind of administration you have. There's only one government, but you have successive administrations to that government. So I understand when you say government, but the thing is, the Bahamian people need to understand. The very ones who you gave authority to run your national affairs are the ones who are jacking us up and have been doing so for 50 years. That's the harsh reality Bahamians must face. We cannot stick our heads in the sand and keep ignoring it, because it will not go away. Either you get up and do something about it and challenge the government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, because that's the real culprit, is them. We have to build this country, and we have to save it for ourselves, our children, our grandchildren, and there are many pigeons behind me who want a better country, a better future. And I'm not going to be sitting back waiting on them to do it. It has to be done with my generation. We cannot wait any longer, because we only have a limited period of time. God help us to understand and move in time so that we can have a country that we can be proud of. That's important.
All right. When we come back, we are going to look at Section 11 of the Bahamas Nationality Act, which deals with deprivation of citizenship. And again, we're going to be looking at that in comparison to the Constitution. But, this is really raising some serious questions as to what kind of sorcery we have been allowed to be operated upon us as masses.
Yes.
By the few that we keep putting into Parliament.
That's correct.
What kind of witchcraft this is. And witchcraft, I don't mean, like what you see in the movies. I'm talking about anything to do with influencing your right thinking. That's what I mean by witchcraft.
So that has happened.
And that definitely is happening.
Yes, ma'am.
So, who trying to swing us? And who has successfully swung us over these last 50 years?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you intend to sit by and continue to get swing? That's the real question.
That's the real question. Yes, ma'am. I agree.
We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rims, paint, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Track Life, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Point 5.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here, along with Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson, streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. If you haven't already done so, please like and share the show. We're also streaming live to our YouTube channels, and you can catch us on Cable Bahamas channel 974. And you can download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and check us out there. The telephone numbers to call are 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, the WhatsApp line for messages and calls. Messages and calls is 801-0271, 801-0271. Huge welcome to all of you who are tuned in by way of radio, whether it is here in New Providence or Grand Bahama, throughout the Family Islands, and those of you who are listening from outside the country. Thank you so much for tuning in to this masterclass Monday on the Constitution with Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson. All right, so prior to the break, we said that we would now look at Section 11 of the Bahamas Nationality Act. So let's do that. Section 11.1 says, subject to the provisions of this section, the minister may at his discretion by order deprive of his citizenship any citizen of the Bahamas who is such by virtue of Article 3, 3, or 4 of the Constitution, or by registration or naturalization if the minister is satisfied that the registration or certificate of naturalization was obtained by means of fraud, false representation, or concealment of any material fact.
What you want to check, he quoted Article 3.3 and 3.4.
Okay, let's do
Is
that.
I think I heard that correctly.
Yeah,
But let's look back at that and see what the Constitution says, because I have a lot to say just in that area right there, what you've read in the Nationality Act.
Okay, so I'm looking now for Article 3.
Yeah, the three that he quoted.
Okay, so looking at Chapter 2, which deals with citizenship of the
Yes.
Constitution. Article 3.3 says every person who on 9th July 1973 is a citizen of the United Kingdom and colonies,
Yes.
having become such a citizen under the British Nationality Act 1948 by virtue of his having been registered in the former colony of the Bahama Islands
Yes.
under that act, shall become a citizen of the Bahamas on 10th July 1973, provided that this paragraph shall not apply to any citizen of the United Kingdom and colonies, A, who was not ordinarily resident in that colony on December 31st, 1972, or B, who became registered in that colony or on or after the 1st of January 73, or C, who on the 9th July 1973 possesses the citizenship or nationality of some of the country.
Now, notice
Then that's 3.3.
3.3. Yeah. Now, let me just comment on that a bit, because when you look at what the minister's saying in the Nationality Act, it's contradictory to what the Constitution itself is saying.
Okay.
See, that's a major problem right there.
Mhm.
Because it specifically says the United Kingdom and what? Colonies.
Colonies, right.
Now, we know naturalization was finished January the 10th, 1974.
Mhm.
And it was specific to a group of people, the United Kingdom and colonies, and some of them didn't want to be citizens of the Bahamas.
Mhm.
They wanted to go back home.
Right.
But they had an option. This was not open to any and everybody. The United Kingdom and colonies. And I'm going to tell you right now, some of those other colonies that were now nations, some of those persons got citizenship in the Bahamas, which they did not qualify for. They were not a part of the United Kingdom and colonies, so where are they going? You're going to find, Ms. Malcolm, a lot of mistakes were made by the government of the Bahamas in those early years, granting citizenship to people who never qualified for it. And you can see specifically the three areas that were mentioned, because they could decide, well, listen, I don't want it. I'll just bypass that. And they have a right to do that. So we have to pay close attention to detail. I've always said that in analyzing the Constitution, article by article, section by section. And we see now they talk about naturalization today through the Bahamas Nationality Act, which is not valid. There's no such thing as naturalization. That stopped July of 74. So where are they going with that? And it was specifically for the United Kingdom and colonies. Some of them, a few of them, not that many, a few of them decided they would take it, and then the others went back home from whence they came. Now go on to the next one.
Before I do, I have a question for you.
Ma'am.
So we have this Constitution,
Yes.
right? Written, I would like to believe, by intelligent men who sat around the table at the time. I don't know if there were any females involved in that process, but certainly there were some intelligent men who sat around the table who put that Constitution together, who determined what would be included therein. At what point, and this isn't just a question as it relates to, well, I guess, let me limit it to our country, because we can't often compare ourselves to other countries because their laws are different from ours. So let's just stay right here at home.
Yes.
If you have a sound constitution, at what point does it become necessary for you to create these acts that are separate and apart from the Constitution, like the Nationality Act, at what point is it necessary, or does it become necessary, to create an act if you have a solid Constitution? I'm assuming that the answer is if your Constitution does not already address something that, let's say, comes up and you realize, okay, we need to put some kind of law in place that deals with this particular situation that the Constitution may not have addressed. Am I on track here with that?
No, you're on track. You're on track. But when you look at the citizenship articles
Mm-hmm.
in the Constitution, you're going to find that those articles address every single area of persons in the country, coming into the country, as it relates to them being citizens in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. You will notice that there are some things that specifically go the United Kingdom and colonies. That excludes all the others.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't seem like our leaders understand that. It has to be a flagrant violation of constitutional law. Those articles haven't been changed. The naturalization ended in 1974, July the 10th, 1974, because that specifically applied to, and he said, the R.C. Ryan, who died, he got his citizenship some 13 years after he had passed. So it just goes to show you how the government of the Bahamas has been operating contrary to the Constitution. And so we have to understand that we have some serious issues going on in our country right now. Because the man talking about naturalization
Mm-hmm.
in his Nationality Act,
Mm-hmm.
which we already have proven is not constitutional. So these are some serious things that the Bahamian people have to consider themselves, because see, we got all kinds of funny things coming up to distract us from the real issues that affect the Bahamian people.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, we have to fight it, and we have to win, and we will win. You're not going to distract me with any foolishness that you put out there about this thing or that thing, when I know the major problem affecting the Bahamian people is an immigration issue
Mm-hmm.
and citizenship issue. That overshadows everything. And it's causing a lot of problems. We got all kinds of strangers in this place. Where these people going? That's what we need to understand. So here's the man talking about naturalization in 2023,
Mm-hmm.
which ended July of 1974, and is not constitutional. So where's he going with that? Where's the government going with that? Where's the parliament going with that? Because you cannot change any constitutional law without the permission of the Bahamian people. The entrenched provisions, these provisions are entrenched when it comes to citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
You have to ask the Bahamian people, can we naturalize people? Well, then you got to go to a referendum. And then the people say yes. Well, then I guess you could work with it. Then you change the Constitution.
Right.
But that's not happening. The man talking about naturalization, you see it right there. You read it in the act, which was over a long time, from 1974. And it was specific for United Kingdom and colonies. And then people had to be registered where? In the former colony, which was what? The Bahama Islands. That's in the Constitution. Now you got all kinds of people talking about they want to be naturalized, who had nothing to do with the British and the colonies of Britain. Nothing. So that's confusion right there. Open confusion. That doesn't make any sense. So that's why I'm saying we're going to go and strip this to the bone And I will tell the Bahamian people and show them from the Constitution the crap that is in this Bahamas Nationality Act.
We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
How you doing, Michelle Malcolm? How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Professor, Poor People Defender.
Hello, how are you?
I'm blessed. Are you trying to figure out when you talk about all of this? I came back, and when you look around, you see a lot of kids on the line. You see a lot of kids going to school. You see a lot of things happening in this country. And just like you say, an old corner that I used to know, now that I back, everybody in there who I used to know is not there no more.
That's correct.
You got a new set of people coming in who don't speak your language, playing their music and everything, right?
That's correct.
And to me, I call that offensive to me.
Very okay.
Now, let me ask a deep question. Our prime minister, isn't he some type of lawyer or something like that, QC or something like what I heard?
Yeah, he wouldn't be the first.
No, I'm just asking because I trying to get to something. He's a QC, right?
We've only had one prime minister of this country who was not a lawyer, and that was Dr. Menace.
Okay. So you don't think he know exactly what's going on? Because as far as I'm concerned, even if you wanted to register, let's just say if you have the right to apply, I thought you had to do that to drop your nationality. I thought you had to go on in the front of a Haitian in the front of their parliament to do that and then come to the Bahamas. And if I'm wrong, let me know that.
Well, let me bring you up to speed on that. Haitians cannot renounce their citizenship.
No, I know that from since 2012. But I'm talking...
Even before then, they had to go to Haiti.
That's what I'm saying. They had to go on there. So, right.
In
so,
person.
Clear up something to me. How does the children that goes to school here register to go to school by their parents? So how does that work? Because I was doing some reading too, and I ain't the brightest. I ain't claims to be the brightest. But certain things, you know, I could still kind of make out because I hear for them to get into school, they have to get in by either somebody who adopt them or by a Bahamian who is either married to one of them or something like that.
That's not.
But if you have two parents that is of Haitian descent, how do their children get into school?
Yeah, they don't have to be represented by any Bahamian or anything like that. I think it is because of I don't know, Professor, if it's in our Constitution or if it's something that we signed on from the UN that says that everybody's entitled to education.
Okay.
Is that constitutional or is that something that the UN ruled on?
I'm glad you said that, Ms. Malcolm, because I was listening to what the gentleman was saying.
Mm-hmm.
You do not overrun your country with foreigners and saying that we have a mandate to make sure that children are supposed to be in school. We have Bahamian children here that are also looking for spots in the schools. The point is that we should not overburden the country with strangers. And many of these children don't have their parents with them.
But the question, though, is that a part of the Constitution that says that everyone has a right to education, or is that a part of the UN mandate that has been handed down to all of these nations?
Well, from what I understand, they're saying that they signed an agreement.
Right. So that was a UN mandate.
Maybe
okay. I have a question, Ms. Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
That's a UN mandate. Now, going to school in the States, I'm just asking, yeah, they might have a right to education, but don't you think we should be charging these people?
I've argued that before. It says that they have a right to education, and don't say that they have a right to free education.
That's what I'm talking
about. When I went to university in the United States, when I went to college in the United States, there were two different sets of tuition being paid. The Americans had one set of tuition that they paid because they were Americans, and the foreigners like me had another set of tuition that we paid, which was far more.
I in school now. This is what I'm trying to figure out, because they had a discussion when I in Freeport now, but I'm getting ready to go back, and I had to pay. I literally, because I have to pay up. You know, you have the summer break. You have to pay up everything before you could go back in the class.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm asking, me and my brother had this little conversation. Why does the Bahamas believe that everything is free? Do you know, here's something, do you all know when they say, what they, them equal freedom rights Bahamas or something like that, do you know what is rights? Let me break this down because this was just on one of our tests and I guess everybody get it wrong. You know, rights is like basic things like water, education, healthcare, and stuff like that. But here's what the trick with plenty people are telling you. That's rights for your citizen, not non-citizen. It's rights for your citizens. Just like how they kidnap the rainbow, them other fellas, and put it on the flag and say that's A1. That's what the rights is. So if you overflow, if you educating one side, like let's just say, if it gone out there that we don't do that dual thing, we don't do the dual citizenship. So I don't believe when people say, okay, I'm a Haitian Bahamian. I don't believe in that dual talk. You understand what I'm trying to say? Answer me one question. No matter what we have in this country, can anybody identify any Haitian pastor when we are in the Independence Day? Anybody? When we have anything with does, when it comes to, like just say, Bahamian, your pride and whatnot, you never find them. You find them on their day, but you find them when the Bahamas have things to offer. Why did we choose to pick these sets of people to say to be equal? There's no country I see that's saying that running, you have the citizen that might be outnumbered by another set of personality that not contributing nothing to the matter. Don't you think sooner or later you can collapse? One way or another, something is going to collapse. And that, to me, that ain't done by ignorance. That was planned by the people them who's supposed to be protecting you. That ain't done by ignorance. That was planned. Because if you watch Keith Bell, you get catch in a church. All of that explosion would happen after you do that. You go on and do it again. So that goes to tell you, and then you look back. Let me tell you why crime and everything is demonized when something going wrong in this country. But it ain't saying, okay, this happened on this side or this happened on that side. You know why crime will never be solved? You know why? Because me as a young man could watch people who are 30 years older than me deliberately doing something to me. Now, if my daughter have to compete with whoever going to school here, and then she don't understand nothing. You see the guy over Abaco? I listened to his voicemail. He called us stupid. Listen to it good. He called us stupid. What his name is? Frankie. He called us stupid. He said the children smarter than us. And he said we is not they're not their mothers and fathers. But what make him think we is our mother and father? What make him think that? Miss Michelle? What make him think I is my mother or my daddy? You get what I'm trying to say? You think I can stand here and watch my country burn in the sake of two parties? These guys got to be out of their mind. And if we sit down there thinking passive talks can move these people, take a trip over on their side on YouTube and see how they deal with justice. And that was happening from the beginning of time. And I can leave you on this because everybody seems to not to get it. We is the only one we're being concerned about them, but they're not being concerned about us. Thank you, Michelle, for your time.
All right. Thank you for calling.
Well, let me just say that the caller has some concerns, and that is good.
Come a little closer.
I believe that I've said to people from the very beginning, there are things that we can do to help preserve our country, but it takes an organized movement of people, and you have to be serious about it. I will know when the Bahamian people are serious. I know them very well. You're not going to fool me and tell me that you are, and I know that you're not. For too long, we've been playing games. We've been playing around with some people who do not care about us. And we have stuck our heads in the sand. Now that we are awake and we're beginning to see some things, now it takes an organized movement by the Bahamian people to change things. You can't leave it the way it is. We have to protect this place for ourselves, our children, our grandchildren, and children yet unborn in this country. You notice what I said to people in their local community where they live. Now, see, a fellow like me, I get on well with all those people that live in my area. I just don't get into their personal affairs. I talk to them on any number of issues, and I discuss things with them. And I said, listen, we have to find a way to make our community a better place. That's where it starts. You communicate with them. You talk to them in a language that they can understand. Simplify it and cause them to see differently. Because a lot of them are just existing. And so if you have people that just exist and whatever bucks up goes, you're going to have a botched up community. So I take time and I go out and I communicate and I talk to them. I don't get personal with them because that's not my business. The point is I discuss things that affect all of us collectively in a given community. If you can get on well with your people and all this energy that these people seem to have when they call these shows, okay, let us channel this energy constructively. See, from 1729, and I'm going to say this because it doesn't seem as if a lot of us understand how important this is. From September of 1729, the House of Assembly was established. We have had from 1729, September is my birth month, by the way.
Okay.
And that's going to be next month.
Big celebration.
Oh, yeah. The thing is, Bahamians, we have had peaceful transition from one administration to the other. We're not a perfect people. The administrations have not been perfect. Look at the one we got now, all the crap that they're doing. But I am telling you, there's enough in the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to deal with them decisively. That's why it's important you need to know what your Constitution says. Stop listening to the crap that people are putting out there trying to discourage you from the real issues that the governor of the Bahamas ought to be dealing with. Because right now, you can see all kinds of distractions. And those distractions are designed to get you away from the real issues that the authorities ought to be dealing with. We're going to have to put some real pressure down. And Bahamians, you have to do it now. And if you're not sure what to do, then you have to find out what it is you can do. It's no point grumbling and complaining on the airwaves as we do every single day when the shows are on. And I'm not saying you must not complain if you have a legitimate complaint.
Right.
So I'm not knocking that. I listen to a lot of people who have ideas and suggestions. You know what I asked them at the end? What are you going to do about it now? That is the question. What are we going to do about this major national problem, this immigration and citizenship issue? The biggest one in the country. Of course, you got murder too and crime. But I'm saying to you, Bahamians, we have major problems, national problems that need urgent attention. And your participation is going to be very important. We're going to have to do something about this place to save this place. I'm going to be working very hard. And I'm happy that you people are waking up. Now, don't go back to sleep. Don't even do that. Because I have my work cut out for me, and I'll be calling upon you to assist and help. Because Bahamians, it takes a collective response from the Bahamian people. And the Constitution is the best document to work with. Don't mind the other nonsense people talking about. I hear people always talking about governance, but not one single word about the supreme law. How are you going to govern without supreme law? Now, from 1729, September of 1729, right up to, this is August, September of this year, not one shot has been fired to change an administration. James, you know how important that is? Do you know of any other nation in the Western Hemisphere that has that kind of record? And you're going to allow some crappy people talking nonsense and foolishness to disturb that kind of record? If you want to be like Sudan, you want to be like Niger, you want to be like some other countries in the African continent where they've had violent overthrows of government.
You ain't got to go that far.
We don't have to even go there. We have a track record of our own.
Go right to Haiti to see what's
But you
going on.
got Haiti,
Mhm.
huh? From 1804, they got independence. And they still chop them up and putting a necklace around people and doing foolishness. Is that what you want to see in the Bahamas?
Clearly not.
Clearly not. We don't have to have that. It shows from the record of governance in the country, not that the government has done its job well. That's a different issue altogether. I am saying the patience and the tolerance of the Bahamian people, we got to use it wisely to get the right kind of people to run our national affairs from 2023 going forward. Because obviously we've been making some serious mistakes by putting people in power and authority who have not done as well. We have been a trusting people. Bahamians have been very trusting of their representatives. And the representatives have taken it for granted. The government has taken that trust for granted. And we see the evidence all around us.
Well, speaking of trust, I was somebody sent me an image of a local newspaper article saying that a Haitian diplomat is warning that we need to be very careful because gang members who have escaped Haiti are hiding out in the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands, and we must not rush to give political asylum to people coming from Haiti because we don't know if they're gang members or not. Now, I didn't get to read the entire article. From what I did see, I'm not sure if they named anybody within that article, but from the few lines that I was able to read, I didn't see anybody named. It just said a Haitian diplomat from what I saw. But the point is well taken.
Yes.
We have to have some kind of effort made to find out who is in this country.
We have to.
Because anybody could come in, and that's a scary thought, that we could have people roaming around on our streets who have that bloodthirsty attitude.
Yes, I agree. And I'm not knocking what you're saying, Ms. Malcolm, because you're right. But see, here's another thing what we are forgetting. It is the God of heaven that has contributed to our stability in that sense from 1729 right on up to now. A lot of people don't understand. God moves in very mysterious ways. And he said he will cause even your enemies to be at peace with you. When we take God out of the picture in running our national affairs, we're asking for trouble. Right now, that's what's happening with the government of the Bahamas. The government of the Bahamas does not have God in our national affairs. Now, it's very, very serious. They believe they could go by what the UN say, what the United States say, what this one say, what that woman in another country say. And all we're doing is hearing from human beings who have weaknesses and shortcomings. When we are to be a nation under God, under the rule of God. We have some praying people in this country who have been praying for years and years and years. And God has heard their cry. God moves in very mysterious ways. We must have God in our personal lives. We must have God in our community life. That's why I say to people, let us get on well with each other because we have a big job to do and we only have a limited time to do it. We can't waste any more time, Bahamians.
All right.
We just cannot.
We have to take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue this conversation in the time that we do have left with Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on this masterclass Monday, looking at the Constitution of the Bahamas in comparison to the Bahamas Nationality Act. Stay with us. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all. Schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
One of the things I love about the mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy, with Mailboat's U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the Mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
We are back. Welcome back to Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company, along with Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on this Masterclass Monday show, where we look at the Constitution of the Bahamas in an effort to help to educate you about your rights and responsibilities contained therein. So we only have about 12 minutes left in the show. I will go ahead and throw out the numbers anyway. The numbers to call, 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line for calls or messages is 801 0271. 801 0271. We are streaming live to Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and the Global 99.5 FM pages. Even though we've only got about 12 minutes left of the show, it's not too late to like and share the show. They can always come back and watch it later on. Also streaming live to our YouTube channels, and of course we're on Cable Bahamas, channel 974. You can also download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device. Check us out there. And of course, welcome to all of you who are tuned in by way of radio, whether it's from within the country, without the country, however you got here. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, Professor, we've only got a couple minutes left, about 11 minutes or so left in the show. And we are comparing, for those of you who are tuned in late, the Bahamas Nationality Act in comparison with what is being, what is written within the Constitution of the Bahamas, comparing the two with the understanding that the Constitution of the Bahamas is the supreme law. And wherever there is a subsequent act that has been passed, ideally, if there is something contained in that act that stands in disagreement with the Constitution, then the Constitution is supposed to take precedence over what is written within the act. But as we've been discussing for the past several weeks now, months, that has not been happening right here in this Bahamas.
That's correct.
Successive administrations have chosen to follow, when it is convenient, the Nationality Act, or when it is convenient, the Constitution. I think they switch back and forth depending on which is the most convenient.
Well, let's say they operate according to their convenience. I agree with that part of it. But any law that the government is using, which is unconstitutional, that portion of the law, or the total law itself, either portion that is unconstitutional, or if the total law is unconstitutional, that's null and void. That's the law of the land.
Okay.
All right. Now, you were reading that part about the deprivation in number 11. Let's read that part again for me.
Okay. This is number 11 of the Nationality Act, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we looked at 11.1, article, we looked at 11.1. 11.2 says, subject to the provisions of this section, the minister may at his discretion, by order, deprive of his citizenship any citizen of the Bahamas, A, who is such by registration or naturalization if the minister is satisfied that he has, 1, at any time after registration or naturalization, been convicted of the offense of treason by a competent court in any Commonwealth country, or convicted by a competent court in any country of a criminal offense on conviction of which the death penalty or a term of imprisonment of not less than 7 years may be imposed, and has not yet received a free pardon in respect of the offense. 2, within 5 years after registration or naturalization, been convicted been convicted by a competent court in any country of a criminal offense and sentenced therefore to imprisonment for a term of not less than 12 months, and has not received a free pardon in respect of the offense. Or 3, shown himself by act or speech to be disloyal or disaffected towards the Bahamas. Or 4, during any war in which the Bahamas has been engaged, unlawfully traded, or communicated with the enemy, or has been engaged in or associated with any business that was, to his knowledge, carried on in such a manner as to assist any country in that war, or 5, engaged in activities whether within or outside the Bahamas, which are prejudicial to the safety of the Bahamas or to the maintenance of law and public order in the Bahamas. I can stop right there because it goes on to, well, I might as well finish B. Yeah. And B, this is 11(2)B, who is such by virtue of Article 3.3, which we would have read earlier, or 4 of the Constitution, if the minister is satisfied that subparagraph 2, 3, or 4 of paragraph A of this subsection applies in his case.
See, this is why I have a problem with this Nationality Act, because you're mixing up constitutional law with statute law.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to deal with statute law, that's one thing. The authorities in the Constitution tells you who's responsible for specific things that relate to deprivation of citizenship, renunciation of citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And he mentioned a number of other things about criminal acts and so on and so forth. The problem is that the minister has no authority, none whatsoever. When you examine the Constitution, no authority on renunciation, no authority whatsoever in regards to deprivation of citizenship. Now let's get that point straight. The Constitution doesn't support that at all. Now, he had some other things in there about criminal acts and so on. And he's referring again to Articles 3.3 and 3.4.
Mm-hmm.
3.4? Okay, of the Constitution. He has no constitutional authority.
Article 3.3 or 4.
3.3 or 4, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He has no constitutional authority when it comes to those things.
Mm-hmm.
And the Nationality Act itself cannot supersede constitutional authority. And he's getting two things mixed up: statute law, constitutional law.
Mm-hmm.
And that creates a lot of confusion. Because I'm listening to what you were saying, and I'm trying to figure out, where do you draw the line? Because he has no constitutional authority for renunciation or deprivation.
We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon, Lady Malcolm. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Wonderful. And good afternoon, Sidney, Walter Thompson.
Yeah, good afternoon. How are you?
I am all right, man. You wasn't home yesterday, Magado.
Caller, we only got 4 minutes in the show, so you gotta get to your point.
4 minutes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Sydney, I hear the arguments of the renunciation, cannot renounce, and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And you got to go to Mecca or Haiti or something like that. My question again, even though I asked it before, is the Haitian embassy considered Haitian soil? Because I hear people say, no, that kind of, but that in itself cannot be correct. Because our embassy, wherever, the American embassy, wherever, is considered American or Bahamian soil.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to renunciation, can they go to the embassy, Haitian soil, Haitian flags flying, and renounce? I'll hang up and listen.
Thanks for calling.
The answer is no. They cannot renounce, period. That's the answer to that. You see, what people need to understand is, don't get yourself mixed up in these distractions. The country is going to be flooded with distractions. There are some people who have ulterior motives, their own personal ulterior motives, which are not in the best interest of the Bahamian people. And so the thing is that we have to look at things the way they are. What does the supreme law say? Because I think there was a situation with in Tehran with this, whose soil it is and whose soil is not. And the thing is that, yes, you have embassies in different places around the world, but we know that Haiti cannot renounce its citizenship. That's the bottom line.
But I think something says that they have to be in Port-au-Prince in any event.
That was back then, but they can't do that either now.
Mm.
That's been dead long time.
Mm.
Because now you have the 2012 law which came into effect. They cannot renounce, period. They cannot renounce their citizenship, period. So all of them, many of them who got citizenship before 2012, and who've been getting it from 2012 right up to now, null and void. But the government continues to write on strips of paper and giving people pieces of paper, say they're citizens. That's an affront to me. I can't respect that. When you're given a bunch of foreigners, aliens, outsiders, say they're citizens like myself, that's an affront to genuine Bahamians like myself. This is our country, not to be given away to people who are looking for a place to run to, and they have their own country. So what I'm saying is, Bahamians, that we're going to have many distractions. You ain't seen nothing yet. Many distractions to get you from the real issues, from taking the appropriate action that is essential and necessary to bring change in this country.
Professor, time gone. It's 4 o'clock. You ain't got to stay here, but you know, you ain't got to go, but you can't stay here. It's
That's
4
right.
o'clock.
Yeah. Well, time really runs this year.
Yeah. Again, my apologies for the late start. I think that had a lot to do with it. But yeah, time is gone. It's 4 o'clock. Boy. So next week, God spare our lives, and you know, all is well. We'll be back here at the desk to go even further with this comparison. So make sure you tune in next week, Monday. And God willing, both Professor and I will be here to continue this conversation. All right. Thank you once again, Professor, for your knowledge and giving of your time to share that knowledge with the public and Joe public and Jill public, so we can all understand better what the Constitution says.
Yes.
All right. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. GPS will have another thought-provoking show that's going to help us to look beyond the surface and figure out some things that make you go, That's what it's about on this show. Prompting you to think beyond what you see. So be sure to tune in tomorrow. Until then, I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thank you so much for being a part of the show this afternoon. Take care.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on